guys, what's up? This is the Wanderlost vlog. My name is Jesse Manfra, and this is episode 11. I guess it's not episode peace sign, it's episode 11. And I can't wait to share some really cool stuff with you in this episode. We're going to be talking about how I go through the edit process with the vlogs and with the documentaries and just how I work, what's my workflow like, and what kind of stuff do I work on. Just time for a little quick update on where we are with the documentary series, as well as a couple other things coming down the pipeline for Wanderlost. So next week, we're going to be talking to a Buddhist who also teaches Zen meditation, and we want to talk to her about the similarities between Zen meditation and potentially people who live in tiny homes. Are there things that are similar between the two, and why would people choose to do either? My thought, my assumption, and that I'm looking for answers for, is that people want to get more in touch with themselves. They want to do away with a lot of their worldly possessions, and they want to try and experience being on a deeper level. And I think people do that both with tiny homes and with Zen meditation, and I'd love to find out more about Buddhist principles, especially the Buddhist principle of minimalism, because I think it has a lot in common with people deciding to live in tiny houses. Something new that we're going to be starting with Wanderlost is we're going to be doing a video podcast. So I know you're probably saying, like, well, podcast, it's like radio. You listen to it with your ears, not your eyeballs. Why would you do a video podcast? I think a video podcast can be fun because you can listen to it or you can watch it. So I'm just trying to give you guys the option, whatever your preference is. And what this video podcast is going to be is I'm going to be doing interviews here in the Wanderlost library. We're going to be talking to people from nonprofits, people from NGOs, people who are doing some really interesting work to try and better their community or try and better the environment, and just doing really positive things in the world. And I want to talk to them because I think all these people should be interviewed and they should be asked questions, and I'd love to share what they do with all of you. But I don't necessarily have enough material to make a whole 30-minute documentary episode about them, but I still want to hear their stories. So that's why we're going to be doing like 30-minute casual conversations right here, and I'll be able to share it with all of you. So make sure to look for that in the future. Okay, so like I said, I want to show you guys how I edit. It's quite a tedious process. It's really not the most glamorous or the most fun, but I think it's still important to show you guys how I get all of these vlog episodes and these documentary episodes edited and completed and on YouTube as the final product that you see, like you're watching this episode right now. Okay, so let's start by talking about equipment. First and foremost is my laptop. I also have a wireless keyboard and a wireless mouse, which is really good with working with my janky computer. I also have some hard drives, and some are obviously better than other ones. My headphones, which we talked about in a previous episode with the longest cable in the world, and a microphone for doing voiceover work. I also have a notebook for, writing notes in a book. So first I start just by hooking up my hard drives to my computer. I also hook up a secondary monitor to my computer because having the image blown up on a larger screen really helps me analyze things like color and contrast. Then I take the SD card from my camera that has all the files on it. I put that into an SD card reader on my computer. Having an SD card reader is really great because it allows the files to be read a lot faster. Next, I begin by organizing all my clips accordingly. I look through all of the clips and I see what will work best and what won't work. This is probably the most tedious process, but definitely most important. Organization is really key here. Next, I begin by just taking my clips and arranging them to a sequence, just the general order of events I want things to play out. I then also start laying down all my different audio tracks. Having really good sound design is really important and is often a step that's overlooked for most amateur filmmakers. I then also start analyzing all the clips for color, saturation, exposure, and adjusting them accordingly. I'll usually punch up the saturation a little bit and make it a little more orange if it's too blue, or a little more blue if it's too orange. I'll also do some voiceover work if any voiceover is needed. Sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, really depends on the project. Sometimes I use my headphones, but other times I like to use my speakers. It allows me to punch up the audio a lot better. It's what allows my audio to go from sounding like this to sounding more like this. Next, the editing process begins. This is where all the dirty work comes in. The little fine-tuning of all the details, and this is where the hours and hours of work come in. So after hours and hours of tedious editing, waiting for files to render, importing all my footage, and getting everything just exactly where I want it, I finally have a finished product. Something that I can download and put on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for staying updated on the vlog and everything that we're doing here at Wanderlost. I couldn't do it without my amazing team and with all of you guys watching. I've gotten so much support from social media, from all of you on YouTube, and even just from the people that we've been interviewing. Everyone's been so supportive, and I couldn't do it without all of you. So thank you guys so much. Be sure to stay updated with us on social media by checking out the links in the description below. Subscribe if you really like these videos and you want to be the first to see them when they come out. And with that, music and Jesse up.